Most people struggle with strawberries not because the plants are difficult, but because they overlook a handful of crucial fundamentals. Strawberries are actually one of the most generous crops you can grow at home when they're set up correctly. Miss a few key steps though, and even healthy-looking plants will barely give you any fruit. Today, you're going to learn 5 powerful, proven steps that transform strawberries from a frustrating plant into one of the most productive producers in your garden. This isn't about chemicals, expensive equipment, or complicated systems. It's a simple, repeatable approach that allows strawberries to flower and fruit again and again. Follow these steps in the right order and you'll quickly understand why some gardeners harvest full bowls of strawberries for months on end, while others are lucky to get a small handful. Let's start at the foundation. 1. Choose the right strawberry type for endless harvests. The path to non-stop strawberries begins long before you ever dig a hole or fill a pot with soil. In fact, the biggest mistake most beginners make happens before planting even begins. They choose the wrong type of strawberry plant. Even perfect soil, ideal sunlight, and flawless watering won't fix a plant that simply isn't designed to produce continuously. Strawberries don't all grow or fruit the same way. There are 3 primary types of strawberry plants, and each follows a completely different fruiting schedule. June-bearing strawberries are programmed for one major event. They produce a heavy crop over a short period, usually in late spring or early summer. For a few weeks, plants are loaded with berries, and then the show is over. For the rest of the season, June bearers focus on growing leaves and runners, not fruit. While these varieties are great if you want a large harvest all at once for jam or freezing, they are the worst choice for ongoing production. Once their harvest ends, you wait an entire year for more. Ever-bearing strawberries offer a big improvement. Instead of one short harvest, they produce multiple waves of fruit throughout the season. Most ever-bearing varieties deliver berries in late spring, again in midsummer, and once more in early fall. Although production may slow during extreme heat, these plants are built to keep flowering whenever conditions are favorable. Day-neutral strawberries take things to the next level. These plants are not triggered by day length at all. As long as temperatures remain roughly between 35 degrees Fahrenheit and 85 degrees Fahrenheit, they continue to produce flowers and berries. That means steady harvests from spring through fall, and in mild climates or protected growing spaces, even longer. If your goal is truly endless strawberries, day-neutral varieties are the clear winner. For continuous harvests, June-bearing strawberries simply don't fit the plan. Ever-bearing and day-neutral types are genetically designed for long seasons and repeat production, making everything else much easier. Some of the most dependable varieties for long, steady harvests include Albion, known for large, sweet berries and strong disease resistance. Seascape, a heavy producer with excellent flavor and adaptability. San Andreas, valued for consistent berry size and high yields. Mar de Bois, famous for its intense aroma and gourmet taste. EV2, a reliable performer in both containers and garden beds. These varieties are prized not just for yield, but for flavor, durability, and consistency. Starting with the right genetics reduces stress on the plant and on you. Healthier plants flower longer, resist disease better, and keep producing without interruption. Endless strawberries don't begin in the soil. They begin with one smart choice at the nursery. 2. Give strawberries the perfect growing location. Strawberries may be compact plants, but they run entirely on sunlight. Light is the driving force behind flower production, and flowers are what turn into berries. Without enough sun, even the best strawberry variety will struggle to perform. For strong, consistent fruiting, strawberries need at least 6 to 8 hours of direct sunlight every day. The more sun they receive, the more energy they can convert into flowers and fruit. Plants grown in partial shade may look green and healthy, but they'll produce very few berries. The ideal strawberry growing location combines 3 essential factors. First, full sun. Choose the brightest area you have. South-facing garden beds, open patios, balconies, rooftops, and sunny yards are all excellent options. Avoid spots shaded by trees, fences, or buildings for most of the day. Second, good air circulation. Strawberries need airflow to stay healthy. Poor air movement traps moisture on leaves and flowers, encouraging fungal diseases, especially during warm, humid weather. Open locations and proper spacing allow plants to dry quickly after watering or rain. Third, excellent drainage. Strawberries absolutely cannot tolerate wet soil. Roots sitting in soggy conditions quickly rot, leading to disease, weak growth, and eventual plant failure. If your soil is heavy or clay-based, raised beds or containers aren't optional, and they're essential. Raised beds improve drainage and warm up faster in spring, giving strawberries an earlier start. Containers provide even more control. One often overlooked advantage of container growing is temperature management. Containers heat up sooner in spring, encouraging earlier flowering, and cool down faster in fall, which can extend fruiting later into the season. Strawberries adapt beautifully to many growing systems: traditional in-ground beds, raised beds, hanging baskets, vertical towers, grow bags, and pots. No matter how you grow them, drainage is non-negotiable. Containers must have drainage holes, and soil should never remain waterlogged. When strawberries are planted in the right location, roots grow strong, leaves stay vibrant, and plants focus their energy on fruit production instead of survival. Strong roots build healthy plants create more flowers, and flowers turn into endless strawberries. 3. Build rich, living soil that feeds continuously. If sunlight acts as the fuel for strawberry plants, then soil is the engine that keeps everything moving. And when the goal is ongoing harvests, average garden dirt simply won't cut it. Strawberries demand plenty of nutrition, but they perform best when those nutrients are delivered slowly and steadily, not in harsh chemical bursts. What you want is rich, living soil that feeds plants gently over time. Perfect strawberry soil has 3 essential characteristics. First, it should be loose and airy. Soft, crumbly soil allows fragile strawberry roots to spread easily and breathe. Compacted ground restricts oxygen, traps excess moisture, and limits nutrient uptake. A light structure also improves drainage, which is critical for preventing root rot and fungal problems. Second, strawberries thrive in slightly acidic conditions, ideally with a pH between 5.5 and 6.5. In this range, nutrients like phosphorus, potassium, calcium, and magnesium are readily available. When soil drifts outside this zone, nutrients may still be present, but become inaccessible to the plant, slowing growth and reducing fruit production. Third, the soil must be rich in organic matter. Organic material feeds beneficial microbes, improves moisture retention, and creates a self-sustaining nutrient system that supports long-term productivity. Before planting, think of preparing your soil the way you'd charge a battery, fully and deliberately. A well-prepared soil mix supplies everything strawberries need for months of steady growth and fruiting. Start by blending in high-quality compost or well-aged manure. Compost improves structure, increases microbial life, and releases nutrients gradually. Aged manure adds gentle, slow-release nitrogen without damaging sensitive roots. Together, they form the backbone of living soil. Next, incorporate worm castings. These are one of the most effective natural soil amendments available. They enhance water retention, boost microbial activity, and supply a perfectly balanced set of nutrients. Worm castings also contain natural growth compounds that promote strong root systems and increased flowering. For consistent blooming and berry development, strawberries need phosphorus, but only in a mild, long-lasting form. Organic bone meal or rock phosphate fits this role perfectly. These amendments release nutrients slowly, supporting roots and flowers without overwhelming the plant. Work all amendments thoroughly into the top 8 to 12 inches of soil before planting. This creates a deep, nutrient-rich root zone that allows strawberries to feed steadily without stress. One important caution: stay away from fresh manure and high-nitrogen fertilizers. Fresh manure is too strong and can burn roots, introduce harmful pathogens, and cause excessive leafy growth. High nitrogen fertilizers push plants to produce lush green foliage at the expense of flowers and fruit. When nitrogen is too high, strawberries may look impressive, but they'll produce very few berries. Healthy soil encourages balanced growth. Strong roots, steady leaf development, and continuous flowering all come from the same source: living, well-prepared soil. To keep nutrients flowing, apply a light top dressing of compost or worm castings every 4 to 6 weeks during the growing season. This maintains fertility without shocking the plants. Think of your soil as a slow-release energy reserve. When it's fully charged from the start, strawberries don't struggle. They simply perform. And plants that never struggle are plants that keep producing. Rich soil doesn't just grow strawberries, It fuels endless harvests. 4. Plant correctly. Crown placement makes all the difference. This step looks deceptively simple, yet it's one of the most common reasons strawberry crops fail. Strawberries are extremely sensitive to planting depth, and even small mistakes here can shut down production before it ever begins. Every strawberry plant has a crown, the thick central point where roots and leaves meet. This crown is the heart of the plant, and its position in the soil must be exact. Plant the crown too deep and moisture collects around it, leading to rot. Plant it too shallow and the roots dry out and fail to establish. The crown must sit precisely at soil level, neither buried nor exposed. Take your time when planting strawberries. This is not a step to rush. Begin by digging a hole wide enough to accommodate the roots comfortably. Strawberry roots should never be bent upward or crammed into tight spaces. Instead, spread them downward and outward like a fan, allowing them to grow naturally into the soil. Hold the plant so the crown rests right at the surface, then gently backfill with soil. Press the soil lightly and just enough to stabilize the plant without compacting the ground and removing airflow. Once planted, water thoroughly. This settles the soil, eliminates air pockets, and ensures strong contact between roots and soil. Proper watering at planting dramatically improves establishment and reduces transplant shock. Spacing is just as important as planting depth. In containers, space plants about 10 to 12 inches apart. In garden beds, allow 12 to 18 inches between plants. Adequate spacing ensures sunlight reaches every plant, promotes airflow, and reduces disease pressure. It also gives each strawberry enough room to produce runners and berries without competing for nutrients. Overcrowded plants fight for light and resources, resulting in smaller fruit and reduced yields. Proper spacing allows each plant to reach its full potential. After planting, keep the soil evenly moist for the first couple of weeks while roots establish. Once settled, strawberry plants become far more resilient and productive. Correct planting builds strong foundations. Strong foundations support healthy crowns, and healthy crowns are the key to endless strawberries. 5. Master watering to keep strawberries. Producing non-stop. If soil acts as the engine and sunlight supplies the energy, then water is the critical component that keeps the entire system synchronized. Strawberries rely heavily on consistent moisture, and even short periods of improper watering can cause fruit production to slow dramatically or stop altogether. The secret is not more water, but balance. Soil should remain evenly moist at all times, never completely dry and never saturated. Because strawberries have shallow root systems, they lose moisture far more quickly than deep-rooted plants. One hot, dry afternoon without water can stress them enough to drop flowers or halt berry development. On the opposite extreme, roots that sit in soggy soil are starved of oxygen, leading to rot, disease, and weakened plants. This is why irregular watering is one of the most common reasons strawberry plants fail to produce well. When strawberries experience water stress, the consequences appear almost immediately. Flower formation decreases. Berries stop growing or develop uneven shapes. Sugar levels drop, resulting in sour or bitter fruit. Plants redirect energy away from fruiting and into basic survival. During flowering and fruit set, strawberries need reliable moisture every single day. Consistency is far more important than volume. The most effective approach is deep, gentle watering. This allows moisture to penetrate the root zone without flooding it. Quick surface watering only wets the top layer of soil and encourages shallow root growth, making plants even more vulnerable to heat and drought. Deep watering trains roots to spread outward and downward, creating stronger, more productive plants over time. Always apply water at the base of the plant. Avoid spraying from above. Wet leaves, flowers, and fruit create ideal conditions for fungal diseases such as gray mold and powdery mildew. In warm weather, moisture sitting on foliage can destroy an entire harvest faster than most gardeners expect. Timing matters as much as technique. Early morning is the best time to water. Plants receive moisture when they need it most, and any accidental splashes on leaves have time to dry during the day. Watering in the evening keeps soil cool and damp overnight, which significantly increases the risk of rot and disease. One of the most effective tools for maintaining perfect moisture levels is mulch. A generous layer of organic mulch, clean straw, pine needles, shredded leaves, or fine wood chips dramatically improves growing conditions for strawberries. Mulch helps by holding moisture in the soil, reducing evaporation during hot weather, blocking weeds that compete for water and nutrients, keeping berries clean and off damp soil, stabilizing soil temperature, protecting roots from heat and cold stress. Mulched strawberry plants require less frequent watering and stay evenly hydrated for longer periods. This steady moisture supply is exactly what strawberries need to keep forming flowers and developing fruit without interruption. As a general guideline, strawberries need about 1 to 1.5 inches of water per week. During heat waves or when growing in containers, water requirements increase. Containers dry out much faster and may need daily watering during peak summer conditions. A simple and reliable method is the finger test. Push your finger about 2 inches into the soil. If it feels dry at that depth, it's time to water. If moisture is still present, wait. When strawberries receive the right amount of water, they don't struggle, they thrive. Flowers continue to appear, berries grow large and sweet, and plants stay productive for months rather than weeks. Mastering watering unlocks one of the most important secrets to steady, abundant strawberry harvests, season after season.